Hello there, gang. DD here with another Past Blast in which we're playing a little bit of Knightshift. Or if you're from the North American region, you may know it as Once Upon a Night. And that is what it was called there. This was actually a game released in 2003. It was developed by Reality Pump Studios and distributed by Topware. And it is in fact a part 2. There was a Polish game. I'm not even going to pretend to try and pronounce the name of it. And this was the part 2 of it that got a more widespread release across UK, Europe and the US. So what do we get? Well, it was marketed, or it's sold as a sort of combination of RTS and RPG similar to the Spellforce games. That's not quite correct, however. As you can see from campaigns and RPG, they are in fact two separate game types. Your campaign is more of a traditional RTS with some light RPG elements, and the RPG acts more as a traditional RPG in which you pick a character, different character types, say a mage or a barbarian, etc., and they have different stats and abilities, and you play through as that character, as well as there's all sort of usual buying, selling, finding spells and upgraded armour, that kind of thing. You also get a lot else of content, however. You get a skirmish mode, and depending on the map type, it controls how many different opponents you can have, whether it's a human opponent, which unfortunately you won't get anymore, as well as some different types of settings there. See, multiplayer, the servers are long dead, so if you do want to play with another player, you're going to have to use something like Hamachi to set that up. And that might affect your enjoyment somewhat of the RPG side, because I do think they was intending this to be played more co-op, and we shall look as to why that is when we get to the RPG part of the game. We've got some options. Your interface, quite a few decent settings there. Sound wise, a lot of mixers. You also get a different choice of soundtracks with it. I'll leave it on RTS for the time being. Video options are a bit limited, and you also might notice I've got a very funky resolution going on. I shall explain for why that is as well in a little while. And finally we've got our keyboard, all rebindable of course, and RTS and RPG from back in them days, there's a lot to rebind. So all good on that front. So what we should do is let's dive in quickly and have a look at the RTS section. You can load directly as well if you want. Each has its own area, so let's just dive on with where I was here. So this is your typical RTS map, layout, and interface. That tells us what you want to be doing. The usual scroll bars up there. I mean, the graphics definitely kind of show their age, although there's some half decent animations for the age of it. So here are some enemies. So there are two main characters. Let's get our archers on support.
Also, when I'm wounded, I will not give up.
That's an enemy structure, so they're going to destroy that. Give them help.
Now I'm ready.
So this is very early game, so I've only got some very basic units at the moment. Now here's how, as you'll see, Prince John is our main hero. As he's wounded, if I click that little sleep button, if they're not in danger, you can sleep them to recharge their energy quickly. Now here, if I click on that, he has now picked up that better shield. That's basically how you do it. If it's better than what they've already got, they will pick it up. If it isn't, they will leave it alone.
Agreed. My name is John, Prince John.
That's all very simple interface. You can just select them with your mouse. Left click does everything from attack to attack. Here's something that's quite a nice little touch. If I select that icon there,
I shall make pin cushions out of them.
you can also get them to attack environmental props. not so important in this part of the game, but you hear there's a lot of voice acting goes on for each characters. And in typical fashion, as the game goes along, you do get a lot more character types. You'll eventually get your mages and your wizard types and all that. Who's coming? Hang on, come back here. Uh-oh, down here, help these guys out.
Now I'm ready.
Oh, move up there. Come here. Obviously your ranged characters aren't very good at... Oh,
Help!
well, isn't it all kicking off now? Does he need that axe?
Yes, Prince.
He does, so now he will do more damage.
It will not be
Alright.
easy to impact the king's seat.
As you can expect, these guys are good against flying items or ranged, but if they get into a fist fight, they're pretty much toast.
The enemy has to offer.
And you can tell from these guys there, your tanks. These two must always survive every mission, by the way.
Diplomacy.
Agreed.
So it's all very RTS.
As ordered, Lord.
So let's go and this is our next mission.
I'll do it.
Welcome to our village, Honourable Knight. We saw from the hill how they finished off our enemies. Does they want to stay a while inside our walls and help us rebuild the village?
We would be happy to stay here and help fortify the village. In return, we only ask for food and board.
Agreed. Welcome, sirs, to our village.
So this is a very guided kind of RTS. As you can see, they've now turned blue, so they're now allied to us. These are our basic fighting unit and building units. So we can now start building some structures. And again, as you go through the game, you will get better structure types and more defensive types. You can also put them into towers to fortify them and give them extra armour. There's a lot going on. Now, I didn't get really a chance to show you with the AI there, because it was all ground based. But what's quite a nice touch is your units will still automatically target. If they'd have been attacked by a mob of, say, ground units and air units, the archers
Changing the bows.
would automatically target the air units as their priority target, unless you overrode it and told them to attack a ground unit. And the same, this is what's really surprising, is it's the same for the enemy AI. If the enemy AI is attacking you, it will try and hit its ground units will try and kill them first, rather than your hard fighting units. In most RTS games, you normally just need to sort of
Yes, Prince.
kite him through and catch the attention of the enemy,
Thy will be done.
and then bring them back. That doesn't work here. They'll come back, but as soon as they see these guys, they'll ignore him and go for them. Also, if the enemy gets too damaged, they'll try and retreat so that they can heal up.
It's high time it became
So this is
safe
really some
to
quite advanced
find
AI for its time. I don't know of many
and then ask.
RTSs that do that today.
Yes, sire.
So yeah, it's a good selection. There's also a good selection of enemy types. Some variants, I say, it's very basic RTS styled. Oh, and you need cows for your economy. Yes, the amount of milk you've got is how much allows you to build bigger structures. Milk is your economy, which is probably more believable for the times it's supposed to be set in. So I think we've looked at all we need to look in the RTS. So just to be aware, it is more of a guided story-based RTS. You'll have to go find someone, talk to them, they'll open a gate, then you go to the next part, do whatever you need to do there. Later on in the game, you'll be given a hub city or a hub area where you'll build up all your fortifications and all the different buildings you need to make all your different unit types, because you do get quite a few more unit types as you go. And then you can go out on missions. You'll be told to go somewhere, but you can't usually take a massive army with you. It's more a small... Things open up a lot later in the later campaigns, but the very first campaign especially, very much more guided. And in the very first mission, this game takes a little while to get going. The first mission is as boring as can be. You're just literally walking around gearing up your main character here. So right, let's nip back now and have a quick look at the RPG side of the game. So So let's go to our hero management. At the moment, that's my character. If I want to create a new character,
A well-travelled and highly skilled and cultured fighting man who spends too much time in Sheerwood
as you can
Forest
see,
playing
that's what
green
his
knights
stats and so
no
forth and
strange
so
manner of
forth.
speech. He claims to have learned
But if I change him from an archer, say, to a knight,
this character, the born hero,
you'll see now he has
saw it as his duty
a
to
different
stand
set
by
of
the royal family, also
secondary
perhaps
abilities. And same again if I was to pick, say, the sorcerer.
older than the forest, but younger than the priest. The sorcerer
And as you can imagine, they're more ranged. They're more. Your barbarian's more of a straight fighter. So let's just delete him for a moment.
speaking loudly to himself and was heard by the wrong ears as he walked
Okay, back on that. I'll just load where I currently am, just to let you see to get a flavour for it. And I'll explain why I think they was expecting this to be more played co-op. Because as you can imagine,
I'll show him.
she's not very good in in combat with land animals. Luckily I can use that little sleep thing to recharge her quicker. Health does always regenerate. But I think they was expecting people to be playing this with a friend, so your friend would be something like a barbarian, you'd be more of a ranged unit. Because she does have a shield that gives her some protection against magic, but not against physical attack. Oh, and she's learned, I forgot to learn that spell.
Certainly.
Just get her to sleep and recharge again before we go out this little dungeon area. The RTS also has dungeon areas, which is quite interesting. Sometimes they're part of the story, sometimes they're not.
Yes, darling.
But you need to swap the map types, rather strangely. So it does mean you're going to end up having to do a lot of kiting. See, somewhere down here. Let's just come back down here. There's a...
Go away. Spirits of the holy haunt, save us.
Oh, she's about to die. I should have used the healing items that I had. Oh well. I've also got them bound to a hotkey. So now I've lost... I've lost those stuffs. Could obviously, if I was actually properly playing, I would load that. I can go back and get all my stuff, but I won't do that now. You see, this is also very guided. It's also very... it's also its own set of missions and maps. You see, it's a lot of content. So now I suppose we better talk about the downsides and negatives. Unfortunately, it's whether you're going to be able to get the game to play. It's quite a big downside. It's whether you're going to get the game to play or not. At all. Unfortunately. Oh, good, yeah, I don't lose any more levels or anything. That's good. Oh, he's still damaged at least.
Gods, hear my call.
Well, hit him, hurry up. See, he's retreating to try and heal up. There are a lot of hoops to jump through when you first get this game. The very first time I installed and played it, you'll have to actually...
1 moment, darling.
That's our quest item. You'll have to put in your CD key. Even though this is on Steam, I've never had that before. I actually had to put my CD key in. I wrote it down on a bit of paper and then wrote it in. It's normally done automatically. And after that, the first thing you need to do, the very first time you run it, is you'll have to run it in a low resolution, or chances are it won't run at all. Then you can try, when you first run it, you'll be given a config launcher, a config program. So set your resolution there. You'll be given a list of other resolutions which will say untested. So you pick one that tests it, then theoretically, if it comes out okay, you should be able to play on it. Because I was originally playing this in 1080. I was playing fine, and then suddenly it decided to stop loading up at the 1080. So I had to reset it to a low resolution. And since then, if I try and get higher than this, it will crash. So yeah, there's a lot of threads in the Steam forum that can help you out, but you may have a lot of technical issues getting it to run. You'll need to make sure you've got the legacy features such as DX Play still enabled. So if I try and kill these, hopefully. No. Come on, run, keep running. So I was going to try and, because they're in an awkward place to get to, if I want to try and fight them, you see how fast they wrecked her. She has very little in the way of physical armour. So I have a feeling they thought I'd be here with a co-op partner who would be a barbarian who would go in and kite them and start smacking them up, and then I'd come in, say, afterwards and use the ranged abilities. So I've never really gotten into the RPG side of it, in all honesty. I've just, yeah, it's never really quite done it for me.
Yes.
So I've never played it through to the end. Whereas the RTS side I have, all 3 campaigns. But yeah, it's just the technical issues. There's also some other bugs within the game, unfortunately. Some people have reported it. Now, I've only had this happen to me once, where a cutscene, a character that was supposed to trigger a cutscene, didn't trigger it. I had to reload to the previous save from the previous level, and then save often with this game, then reloaded the level, and this time it triggered. But some people have said they actually had to restart the whole game. Now, this game goes on for quite a long time. You do get a lot of content, so, you know, be aware of that. But yeah, so it's not really like Spellforce. It is different types of gameplay, as you saw. The RPG elements are. Where was I going? I was going back to talk to that woman, wasn't I? Well, we'll conclude our dealings around about here anyway, gang. This is let you see sort of like the bulk of everything. It is a great game. It's just if you can get it working without too much problems, and the fact you might want to be stuck playing it in a low resolution, and you might want. I mean, when that's said and done, because of the age of the graphics, they are kind of showing their age. So, you know, it's probably not as big a problem, but the technical issues of getting it started might well be. Unfortunately. We got a second one. What's he got to buy? Nah. There's different damage types, of course. Different weapons do different. It's got a lot. It does have a lot to commend it game-wise, content-wise. There's lots of it with your skirmish modes and your 2 different campaign types. If you're in the mood for an RPG, you can do that here. If you prefer RTS, you can do that. There's lots of missions, lots of campaigns to play through. But yeah, it's shown its age on the technical front, and especially starting. So I am playing it on Windows 10. It does play eventually. It's just you might have to jump through a few hoops to get there, and even then you can't be 100% sure. So it's definitely one of those games you definitely, if you're interested, I'd suggest you might want to wait for a sale, or at least remember Steam's 2-hour refund policy. If you do, you have to go through too many hoops to get it working, and working reliably. So the first time you play it and get everything up and running, I'd save, come back, play a bit more, save, come back, just to make sure it's definitely going to be reliable. As I say, I played it for a couple of times, a few times, at 1080, and it just randomly stopped working. I might be able to try it at 1080 again now, and it might work again, I don't know, but this resolution works, so I shall just stay here where we are. So anyway, guys, thanks for taking the time to watch the video. I hope you found it entertaining or useful in some way. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to let me know you're alive. And I shall see you all next time. Bye for now.